Is FTX going to kill Solana's price? Do they have the power to? This is Around the Latte. Thank you for joining. Sorry, it's Around the Blockchain. We got 4 great guests. We're going to get right into it. In the green square, we got Action CEO holding it down. Action, what kind of guitars are you playing? Is that bass or regular?
I mean, we got an electric, got 2 acoustics, we got a bass, and we got a ukulele, and the keyboard over here. We got a couple of things, We try.
All right. All right, little music noodle over there. Also on today, we have Rodney. Rodney, it's our first time together. Rodney, how are you doing today?
Oh, living the dream, man. How about yourself? Thanks for having me.
I'm living the dream as well. You know what kind. Also on today, we have Corey Costa. Corey, what's going on with you?
Hey, what's going on, DZ? How you doing? Glad to be back, man. Thanks for inviting me, brother.
Always a great time. But then we have Big Pey on one of his patented on-location segments. Big Pey, are you literally on a hammock right now?
I am. This is my second time using Around the Blockchain on my phone. So happy to be here. Happy Friday. Always the best way to do Around the Blockchain.
All right, grabbing my points real quick. Yeah, you're starting with 2 just off of that. All right, let's get into ETH's merge's birthday, everybody. It was a year ago ETH merge happened. You remember we're moving from proof of work to proof of stake. We actually have a website right here. It's called ultrasound.money, and they detail everything that's going on. All right. Oh, wait. I have to scroll down and click. If you click the panda, that's 1 year, because everyone knows panda equals 1 year on these type of charts. And you can see here, guys, we are right at 300,000 Ethereum has been burnt. That is a slightly deflationary, not too much. We're looking at, 0.25% deflationary right there. The burn is moving exactly as everyone expected right now. Today's rate only at 100K. Volume's a little bit muted. As volume escalates, the burn rate also escalates there. Supposedly, this change has made ETH 99% less costly to keep the network running. And like I said, 300 less Ether. We did the math. How much money is that? Sure, what does that mean in dollars? We're looking at almost $500 million removed from the market since the merge, everybody. Now, Action CEO, does ETH, with this burden, with this deflationary narrative, does it have everything it needs to overtake Bitcoin in the next, say, 4-year cycle or 2?
I think it's going to depend who you ask, because if you ask the Ethereum Foundation, I mean, they're smiling from year to year saying this is fantastic. We are saving everybody from, emissions and everything else that goes along with it. All while they announced last year in March that they had 1.6 billion in their treasury. All right, it was twice as much as it is today, and I'll show you right over here. This is what it looked like. And look at that chart. You're talking about 80% in ETH. Sure, it was, 1.3 billion. It's still $650 million. They're smiling from year to year saying this is the next big thing. You guys got to get in now. But does it really work? And here's what I'll say. Yes, they are set up for success because of Visa, because of MasterCard, because of everybody else. But man, I am a proof of work guy. I think that the reliability of a network that people actually put their hard-earned money and effort into will always beat out anybody that's trying to say, just take a little bit, just put a little bit of money aside, because, hey, ETH Foundation is the one that's making the most money on this whole ordeal.
Yeah, and remember, you don't need 32. You can stake with somebody. All right, now, Rodney, are you okay doing a fantasy scenario price prediction here?
Absolutely.
All right. If
everyone loves price prediction,
if the 300,000 Ethereum hasn't been burnt, if the $500 million worth of ETH were still circulating in the market, what do you think ETH's price would be at right now? Right now, we're right at 1,600. I might even pull it up to the penny in a second.
First of all, I just want to go off the topic before me about moving from proof of work to proof of stake. I do like proof of work better because moving to proof of stake can make it more centralized, right? Instead of rewarding these workers, it's kind of a random kind of thing with proof of stake. But here's the thing. Yes, the supply has decreased, but the truth is there's just no volume in cryptocurrency right now. So it doesn't matter how small a supply is when there's no demand. Like literally no one cares about crypto right now. So theoretically, if there was more volume in the market, I mean, we would have burned more Ethereum, but I still can't imagine the price would be that high. And as for making transactions cheaper on the Ethereum network, as a meme coin connoisseur myself, let me tell you something. When the ETH network is busy, or just you want to buy any sort of NFTs, it's still expensive. So even Vitalik said, even near the you could say end of the roadmap for the Ethereum network, it's still not going to be as cheap as we think it is to trade on the Ethereum network.
All right, we're right now 1623. What would you say if that was still circulating? What price would we? It would be maybe remove $23, $100, $600. What's ETH at?
I'd say $100, maybe $1,500.
Down 100. Okay, $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably come in along those lines as well. All right, now Corey, Bitcoin maxis. There's one thing they always lean on. It's a hard cap supply, 21 million. Some would say even closer to 20 due to Satoshi's wallet. Well, Ethereum technically has an infinite supply. There could be infinity Ethereum. Apparently, technically here, that makes a lot of Bitcoin maxis nervous. What are your thoughts on those criticisms?
So I think that we need to look at this from a perspective that infinite supply is not synonymous with inflation. So right now, with regarding the issuance, there was, there was only about 681,000 Ethereum issued. But as we've seen, for the 365 days since the merge, we've had almost 1 million Ethereum burned. So right now, from that perspective, although there is technically an infinite supply, that infinite supply right now is deflationary as it stands. So yes, by definition, Ethereum has an infinite supply. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that Ethereum will have runaway inflation and therefore have a runaway dilution of value because of its infinite supply model. I think that as long as Ethereum stays in a ratio where deflation keeps up with inflation, paradoxically, I don't see this as a problem. I think this is just a criticism from Bitcoin maximalists. And unfortunately, we see tribalism in crypto, where Bitcoin maxis are just trying to find a way to criticize Ethereum because it is Bitcoin's biggest competitor as it stands right now.
All right. And chat is split on ETH. Some say ETH sucks, it's slow, it's expensive. You got someone else, ETH is programmed to 10K. We're split here. We're split. Actually, CEO, I got to give you one extra point just for the guitars. Chat is loving the guitars. We got harmonica players. I think it's John Popper from Blues Traveler. Big Pey, I want to ask you about ETH. Now, if you want to talk about price, you can talk about price. I'm more talking about the ecosystem. Where do you see Ethereum, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
Honestly, I see it doing really well. I know I'm the Cardano guy, so you wouldn't expect that, but I think, all cryptocurrencies, the ones that are still around in 5 to 7 years, are going to be much bigger than we believe. Every single bull market that comes around, I'm shocked with how much things go up. And I think ETH's going to be around. Bitcoin's going to be around, ETH's going to be around. One thing about the hard fork is, we've saved all of this money by, not having to pay for the proof of work miners, but where we really needed to save money with ETH is fees. And I haven't really noticed fees come down at all. When the network gets loaded, it's still just as bad and fees are a little lower because of the price. But, once we see $10,000 Ethereum, you're going to see a big shift towards, L2s, because no one, the average person is not going to be able to afford that. And somebody that lives in a third world country now is not going to be able to afford that. But, while I am a Cardano guy, a $10,000 ETH wouldn't surprise me, on a 5-year timeline. Even in the next bull market, I'm very bullish on crypto as a whole. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, anything that's around in 5 years, everyone that invests in it now is going to do very well. No financial advice.
All right, Just Jim +1 for Blues Traveler, and people love that you're in a hammock, so I have one extra point for the hammock.
Well,
there, man.
I know it's chat, so so I hope they're saying nice things this time, right?
This time it's all nice things.
I literally said in the chat +1 for Big Pey for Ada. I love it.
Yeah. Love Cardano. I personally love Cardano. Biggest bag. I know. I'm sorry. All right. Let's talk about Argentinian president. First, I just want to show off his mop of hair, mostly due to my insane jealousy, my seething rage. I'm green with envy right there. We're talking about the very, very libertarian presidential candidate in Argentina, Javier Milei. I think I'm saying it correctly. And they just had their primaries yesterday, and he came in number 1. Looks like they're going to have their election in October, and he might be taking the helm. And guys, he is very, very pro-Bitcoin, anti-central banks there, and a former Rolling Stones cover band member. He's also a television host, also played soccer, also an economist, and I think he just has a good head of hair. I'm just jealous. I can't get over it. But he's fed up with their inflation. Argentinians are facing 100% inflation. Meaning if that gallon of milk costs you $5, it's going to be $10 next year. The year after that, it's going to be $20, and it's just going to escalate from there. And he wants to adopt not Bitcoin as the national currency, but the US dollar as the national currency. But Argentina, 1/3 of them is using crypto right now due to their massive inflation that's largely seen as an escape from inflation. Supposedly 1 out of 3 adults there use crypto. And some are saying his plans might actually lower crypto adoption, not really, get that pro Bitcoin guy where everybody's going to be using Bitcoin there. Might actually be the opposite effect there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, Action CEO, why didn't he go with the El Salvador model, the Bitcoin model? Do you think it's fears from the IMF and those entities?
I think it's more he wants to win, right? More than anything else. And I have experience firsthand with this. Like, I grew up right next door in Brazil, so I know exactly what this is like to have this experience of inflation just running away from you. And all he's looking to do is stabilize things. He doesn't want people to go to work every single day and get paid less every single day that they work. Now, the U.S., let's be serious, the U.S. dollar is also kind of not doing so hot as far as inflation is concerned, but it is way better than any of these other currencies, so much so that other countries even do the same thing where they go to the U.S. dollar. Now, I don't think it's going to, suppress any type of, crypto adoption per se, and it's only because people are already introduced to it. If the ratio is correct, if we're talking about 1 out of every 3 individuals there, well, they know what crypto is all about. They know what crypto can do, and bringing the U.S. dollar is just going to create more strength for the people who are already using crypto at that, at that level. So it's just going to elevate the people who are already in it. So all in all, it is going to be a plus for crypto adoption overall in my book. And hey, plus for people that are just working hard and trying to make ends meet and being, having their money stolen because their government doesn't know what the heck they're doing.
All right. Well, Rodney, it looks like we're having more and more candidates talking about inflation lately. I think it largely started, we had in El Salvador, of course, we have Bukele over there. I'm a little bit older. Yeah. I go further back. I go to the guy, the rent is too damn high party. He was speaking to the frustrations with inflation. High. He was way ahead of everybody. He was like 15 years ahead of the curve there. Yeah. My question to you is this a trend starting to develop? Are we going to start seeing more and more, anti-central bank inflation is, a main priority in the coming 1 or 2 years?
So it's interesting because, the dollar was backed by gold, silver, nothing, gold. Now it's backed by, trust me, bro. And a lot of other currencies are backed by the dollar, right? So it's nice to see these presidential candidates running on pro-cryptocurrency sentiment, like Robert Kennedy, for example. I mean, first of all, big buff guy, right? But it's hard to understand him. But if you listen to what he says, he's really pro-crypto. And he talks about Bitcoin. He bought 2 Bitcoin for each of his 7 kids, which I didn't know he had 7 kids. It's a lot of kids, Robert. And the fact that he wants to back the dollar with Bitcoin. So I think this pro-crypto sentiment is nice. But what I hope doesn't happen is that as soon as these guys get in office, they say, oh, forget about all that stuff I ran on. Let's continue with business as usual. And to go off your point about the inflation over in Argentina, it's 124%. That's absolute madness. That's crazy, right? And so when you look to alternatives to a currency, the dollar, either the dollar or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency could be the alternative. But I do have to, express some concerns on like cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, because keep in mind that if you held $69,000 in actual cash during the top of Bitcoin, or if you held 1 Bitcoin, obviously you'd be way up on your cash right now, even though inflation is bad in the United States. And even though it's bad in the United States, we've done a really good job on getting that inflation down from like 9% down to 3.7%. So all in all, not a bad job.
All right, Rodney, why do they call you Fudney? Are you bearish? Are you bearish?
So here, crazy story. There used to be a bunch of meme coin projects that were obvious scams, and I used to call them out, and they said I was flooding their bag. So Fudney was born.
That's my community in a good way. In a good way. Okay.
That's my community in the chat. Yeah.
All right,
what's up, babies?
Tyler Main. My wife is Argentinian. Argentinian peso has gone from 3 of them equal to $1. That was 12 years ago. Today, 600 of them to make $1. So it went from 3 to 1 to a 600 to 1 ratio in the span of a dozen years there. Now, Corey, I want to ask you, why do you think this guy won? Is it, he's a soccer player. He's got cool hair. The Rolling Stones. I just really love Jumpin' Jack Flash. Why is he the winner from yesterday?
I think in all honesty, it's because the way he conveys his perspectives. I think that he is very much vocal about what he thinks. I think he's very vocal about what the damage that the far left has done and what the far left has done in many different nations. And as a result of that, people in Argentina, obviously not all, but many resonate with the idea of him standing up to the establishment. It's obvious that there is a reactionary response in modern nations from globalism back to patriotism and nationalism. And I think the Argentinian president is looking to convey a very pro-nationalistic Argentinian stance, whereas where he conveys this leftism that has plagued his country. And also, if you look at an example, let's just say Venezuela, it caused the collapse of the nation and its economy when Venezuela was the second largest economy in South America just 2 generations ago. So when you look at the Argentinian president, he's a very likable character because he stands up to the establishment. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians right now don't stand up to the establishment. So I think that conveys a lot of popularity. I think when you're able to speak the truth of populism to the establishment that people are too scared to say, you become very popular very quickly. And this is why I think the Argentinian president has garnered a lot of support very, very rapidly.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he surged #1 in the polls, relative unknown. He was a very small legislator, I think, starting back a few years. Now, Big Pey, I want to share this quote from you and just kind of get your thoughts. I love that he's calling a central bank a scam in his words right here. But this is the part I'm really want to get your opinion on. Bitcoin represent money's return to its original maker, the private sector. What are your thoughts on that comment?
I actually like it. I mean, most of the time when the government, adopts something, let's say they take care of all of the trash, or, they're handling the banking sector or USPS, they don't actually have an incentive to be better. When I go to USPS, they're not quick, they're rude, they're mean. Whereas if I go to FedEx, they're nice and they're responsive because they don't want me to go to UPS. So I think almost everything, should be handled in the private sector because private businesses have an incentive to do better, whether their customers be business or people. They want to treat them better because they make more money. Whereas the government is never incentivized to do that. And honestly, I mean, a private bank is a scam. I mean, they're essentially printing money, giving it to the people that they choose on the backs of everyday people that don't even realize that tax is there. Ultimately, it is a hidden tax. I don't think Bitcoin's really the choice. I think, what would be better is, a currency that is a collection of 15 different stable asset classes at the same time. And I think that's something that crypto offers. We're moving towards a future where we actually have, assets that will truly be stable because they can be a collection of 15 to, 500 different assets that aren't just stocks. It's stocks, it's real estate, it is cash, it is Bitcoin. So I don't think Bitcoin's the answer, but I do think he's right about, most things need to be handled under the private sector. The only thing I think the government should do is, limit, plastic going out or limit some of the pollution. The issue is it gives them too much power. And then it centralizes them the ability to look over every single company, stop operations. But we do have to do something about pollution. It's a tricky problem to solve.
All right. Now I gave you one extra point for the majestic feline that walked through the glass. Corey, go ahead.
I just want to add on to what Big Pey said because I resonated with so much about the private sector. My favorite quote from The Wealth of Nations, which is basically the foundation of capitalism, written by Adam Smith. He said,
"Yep.
It is not by the benevolence of the baker, butcher, or brewer do we expect our dinner, but of self-interest." And I saw you took away a point from me.
No. I added one. There. I can't. I don't actually subtract. I can't subtract. I got to get them involved. Owen, did you subtract? Owen's the only one with that power. I was actually going to say he might have been very, very young when he wrote The Wealth of Nations too. I think he might have been 24.
Yeah, he was in his. I believe he was in his mid-20s when he did it. I don't know the exact age.
Yeah. Well, wise beyond his years there. All right. Well, let's talk about FTX killing Solana. Like the vibes of a polycule. Just dead, cold, fishy. All right. Well, first we have this. All right. There's a lot of misreporting going on with what's happening. Everyone knows. We've probably seen the number $1.1 billion of Solana. We actually have the breakdown. This is from Lab for Crypto. And then the $500 million in Bitcoin. All right. Well, there's some wrinkles with the Solana folks. I mean, because that is a high amount of Solana. For every 5 Solana trading hands, that would represent about 1 out of every 5 Solana. So roughly about 20% of the market. But for those who are worried about a sell-off, you don't need to worry that much. They're limiting themselves. FTX is limiting themselves to 200 million annually. We actually have even more. There's token vesting unlock schedules. Can we show the blue thing? I have it here. I don't know how well you can see it here, but linear monthly unlock from 21 to 27 on the top right there. You go down one, linear monthly unlock from 22 to January 2028. And you go below that, full balance unlocks March 2025. The one below that, also May 2025. So we have huge unlocks in 2025. Then a large chunk ends in 2027. And then it is completely done by 2028. So a lot of people are saying, oh my God, $1 billion's hitting the market tomorrow. Just largely been unfounded fears here. Now, Action CEO, let's get to the point. Can the FTX CEO kill Solana?
I mean, can he kill it? Yes. Will he? Absolutely not. There's way too many players in this game, and it's just not going to happen. And everybody knows that you're supposed to be buying the rumor and selling the news. I'm going to inverse that for today. I think that you need to sell the rumor and buy the news, because what happened back on November 11th? Well, we saw the crash. And then right around that same time, guess what also crashed? Because everyone knew they had a bunch of Solana. Oh, Solana crashed like crazy because FTX crashed. So it's like, hey, they're the same thing. They're all hand in hand. So we're going to get out now. So we're not going to see a great, crash of Solana because of FTX anymore. I think we're going to see a dip possibly, but you're going to see a lot more people buying it up because they understand that the sellout already took place from the investors. And this is just going to be, chump change, I guess you can say, that's going to be flooding the market. And now there's a schedule. Are you kidding me? They're like, this is easy. I'm going to be playing off of that schedule. Am I going to short it during the scheduled times? Probably. But I'm also going to be buying back in to make sure I'm making my money back. So ultimately, is it an inflated, number right now with Solana being at where it's at? Not really, because you can't call VCs, fake numbers. They're really putting the money in. They just expect a return. So my money is behind the people who can move things and invest even more money to make their money back ultimately. So just trying to ride that wave. It's not going to die.
Ride the snake. Palmetto Nick, welcome to The Real Ones. Thank you for the super sub there. Now, Rodney, I'm pulling up the price chart. I remember the run up to $20. Oh my God, I got to get in because I started buying Solana NFTs and it jumped to 40. I'm like, okay, I'm still buying NFTs. Jumped to 250. I was like, hey, maybe I hold on to my Solana. I minted a few. You see, great price action right there. Shot all the way up to $250. What do you think Solana can do for the next bull run, though? Can it reach all-time high again?
Well, first of all, what other cryptocurrency has a phone? Come on now. Shout out to all the people typing in the comments on the Solana phone. That's outrageous to me. Well, I think everything in 2021 maybe seemed inflated a little bit. And unfortunately for Solana, you can do all the technical analysis you want, but when you're associated with something like FTX, even because Sam Bankman-Fried and Alameda Research were in on the project, not that they were running anything over there at Solana allegedly, we don't know that, but you have a lot of bad publicity and people associate you with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX unfortunately. But the price of Solana, to me, I think this could be a steal because there was all these talks about Ethereum killers, which, let's be honest, right now, no one's going to kill Ethereum because Ethereum solves all the problems that a big blockchain, or has all the problems that a blockchain needs, or has all the solutions that a blockchain needs to be successful: scalability, security, and decentralization, allegedly in the decentralization part. But there are some competitors to Ethereum, and Solana was one of those competitors. And I think that when the market starts to run again, people may start to see its value because it is faster, you could say. It is a little cheaper, right? And it's still very popular, and it still has a very big cult. So I think Solana can definitely surprise a lot of people and maybe be one of the big comeback stories of this bear market.
All right. I'm starting to agree, and I talked to a lot of TA people. It got beat down really hard due to the bad news. So, it has an outsized downside there. Now, Corey, let's pull up this chart one more time. And I just want to show you, the run up to 250. Was this an organic price run up?
Quite frankly, because of Solana's unfortunate connections with FTX and Alameda, I don't think it was organic. It's yet to be seen. how much of it wasn't organic, rather it was more VC or centralized exchange back rising the value. So I think that's yet to be seen. But regarding Solana itself, I don't think the run up, unfortunately, was organic. I think a lot of VC backed coins, not even just Solana, they're not very organic. That's why you see a lot of these coins that are VC backed specifically are the ones that go up substantially during bull markets. And then when the VCs exit, they're generally the ones that perform the worst in bear markets, because then retail is basically the only ones holding, unfortunately. But the good thing about Solana is that the Solana community has obviously been very resilient. They've been beaten, like you said, they've been beaten down with the Alameda FUD, with the FTX FUD. Now you have this dip FUD that's going to happen with them, unfortunately. But also remember this, I think that regarding Solana, I think that with these dips that are happening, I don't think we should panic if you're a Solana holder, because they're not going to sell it all off at once. I mean, we've seen the massive panic with Mt. Gox's Bitcoin. So I don't think Solana's price was in the bull market organic. I don't.
All right. Oh, and could we throw this blue graphic up one more time? Big Pey, I'm going to ask you a price question, but this time with the twist. All right, a little purple nurple putting on this one. You probably agree. I think VCs pumped it up, so they can dump at really high prices, 2021. Well, let's look at this. VC money until 2028, 2027, 2025. Is it possible it gets pumped up the next bull run as well?
Yeah, I mean, this market will never cease to amaze me. I mean, here's a great story of Solana and why, if it were up to me, it would already be dead. Solana the whole network has crashed multiple times. And, one of the times that the network crashed, there was a tweet that came out from one of the, operators, and it was them telling everyone in the Discord. In the Discord, they're like, hey, everybody, it's time to restart your nodes. So that's decentralization. We're relying on Discord to, restart our network that has already stopped. And to me, Solana is a VC's dream. That's why, FTX had so much, a part of it. It's a network that's been centralized, from the start. It has crashed multiple times. And that time where I saw the Discord message them, that everyone's saying, restart it. The price went up 3%.
Yeah.
Well, the network was down.
Yeah.
So, could it go up in the next bull market? It probably will. People make very poor decisions every day when they're purchasing crypto. Ultimately, what's right and what's logical doesn't matter when it comes to markets in the short term, and especially in bull markets. But in the long term, if you compare it to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Algorand, real layer ones, it's going to be worth nothing in the long term. It's done nothing unique. It's done nothing exciting. There's no project on there where I'm just seething at my teeth to go buy some Sol. It's crashed multiple times. Solana is, it's going to come and go. It may last 2 markets. Maybe it does something in the third, but it's not going to be around for a long time. And I don't say that about a lot of cryptocurrencies, really. I mean, look at Doge. Doge is still killing it nowadays, compared to where it was at, 5-6 years ago. So.
All right, we were going to have a tie, but the cat just pumped you over to 24 points. I have to. Rodney,
How did we
I'm
get
sorry.
2 points for cats?
Fudney.
2 points for cats? No.
All right, I'll tell you. All right, you get one. All right, we got a tie again. Okay, Rodney, we got a tie. Guys, this has been a fantastic episode. Thank you for joining. Please hit that like button. Everybody has a link in the description below, so I really, really want you guys to go to their channels. Make sure you're subscribed. Maybe leave a comment on their last video. Put on notifications. Jump into their next live if they got it live. Big Pey looks like a cool drummer. Maybe Phil Collins-ish. That's actually pretty dope. All right. God, he's about to break that tie, that comment, but it looks like we got a tie. We're going to give it to Rodney and Big Pey. They're each going to get, 10, 20 seconds. Leave us with some parting thoughts. Action CEO, great job. Corey Costa, great job as always. Also, he's a guitar player. Now I'm going to have to try to find his music. All right, Rodney, Big Pey, let's start with Rodney. Leave us with some parting thoughts, please.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you appreciate it. The cryptocurrency news. If you want to come check out more cryptocurrency news, I go live every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on my crypto journey on YouTube, baby. Come hang out. Let's go.
So I haven't made YouTube videos really all of this year, and it's because I've been building an application that's going to onboard millions of users in the next bull market. It's an application that aggregates all the different financial instruments on the blockchain into one application that teaches you how to use it with easy educational videos that are motion graphic. We also are introducing a new concept called staking baskets that delegates to 50 different single SPOs and rewards you with additional tokens on top of your ADA. So check out Atrium Lab on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching this show. Thank you to Around the Blockchain for having me on. It seems like it's most Fridays, so I always love it. Have a good night, everybody.
Wait, is Cardano getting more decentralized? All right, that's all we got. Hit that like button.
Because